Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso, and I'm out here with Velocity. It's beautiful again today. It's nice and stormy. I like it. I'm one of those people that loves it when it storms. I'm not so big on the mist, but just like the steady rain some places get. But I do love a good storm. So anyway, I've got beautiful Velocity here. A lot of people ask me where I get my dog's names from, and I really try to just kind of capture the essence of like who they are. Sometimes it takes me a long time to pick a name. I take it like very seriously, a lot like naming my own child. And so with Velocity, I knew that she was going to be very fast. I could tell by the way that she was built when she was a puppy that she was built for speed. So I named her Velocity. So I got her from North Carolina. Her mother was a dog named Roxy, who is actually the litter mate sister, which is also called belly mate sister, to Preacher. And she, very, very, very high drive female. Very, very, very high drive. A lot like Cashmere. Probably how Cashmere would be if she was kept in a kennel, because this breeder keeps their dogs in a kennel, just like a lot of them do. Most breeders do. Most breeders do keep their dogs in kennels. So I'm not trying to hate on her or anything like that. I'm not doing that. I will say that I do think it has an effect on how much training you're going to have to do with the puppy, because every dog that I've gotten from her has been food aggressive and very territorial over their space, and just possessive. And so I've had to do a lot more work than the dogs that I raised, or like Tennessee, or even Cashmere. In some instances, Cashmere still had some issues, but they more had to do with the fact that she was spoiled, and it was easier to kind of get it in control. Whereas Velocity's always been a little flighty. Hey, girl. Little reactive. And I just think that has to do with the differences, especially because her mom was so high drive that she was the kind of dog that would run up and down her kennel barking, kind of going crazy. And that breeder likes really high drive dogs. So do I. So there's nothing, I'm not criticizing at all. I hope that's understood. I'm just describing so that you can get a good visual or mental example of what she was raised in, so that you can understand, why she is a lot of the way that she is. So, pardon me. The mold levels have been crazy high here lately, like crazy. All of our allergy stuff is in the red because it's so high. So anyway, when I got her, very sweet, very loyal. The first night, I remember, we were in a hotel, and my daughter had one bed and I had the other, and she was sleeping with my daughter. And I went up to go to the bathroom, and I came back out, and she started barking and barking when she saw me come out. But then as soon as she recognized that it was me, she stopped and started wagging her tail. So I don't mind a dog that is very reactive or very protective in that way, so long as they recover quickly when they realize that the situation doesn't call for that level of aggression, which she did. So that's great. I don't mind that at all. It was a really good testament of her behavior. So, and I can tell you the story of how I got her. So I originally had bought a female from the same breeder, and her name was Eclipse, and I've had some people ask about her. Eclipse had what I would consider to be a weak temperament. It doesn't mean that her lines are bad. It doesn't mean anything like that. She's from the same lines this girl is. It's just a personality issue. Just like in humans, some people are more fearful than others. So she had a fearful temperament. Like, for example, if that same thing had happened with Eclipse, Eclipse wouldn't have stopped barking. She wouldn't have stopped. Like, her rational mind doesn't kick in order for her to be able to recover. Come this way. So anyway, so I knew that like, even though she was beautiful, I knew that, you know, you really don't want to breed in weak temperaments into your lines, right? Because that's how you get dogs that fear bite. It's just not, it's a no-no. You really don't want to do it. So she agreed to replace her, and so we spayed her and we found her a good home. She lives with a woman who has a Great Dane that is a lot like her. She's very fearful and shy. So she already has a good idea of how to handle dogs like that. And she's a vet tech. This way. And she gets to take that dog with her to work every day. So it's just a really good situation for her. And you know, she's living the dream. And then we got Velocity as a replacement, and I think she's everything that I'd hoped she would be. You know, she's, you know, gorgeous. This way, come down, let's go, come, good girl, come, Velocity, this way, come, good girl. So she's been a great dog. You know, she, as y'all saw in other videos, could be really excitable, was very whiny, vocal, but she's really calmed down a lot in our pack. She's just maturing quite well. You know, she's, what, only 6 months old. Nah, shh, this way. Come, Velocity, no. Good girl, come this way. Good girl. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. You're a good girl. So, anyway, so she's doing a great job. I've got videos on how I worked with her in the playlist for training, so you can kind of see what we did to get her to where she is now. It does take work. It can be very frustrating. It can feel like you're hitting a wall. Ah, psh, this way. But honestly, it's worth it. Come. Good girl. There's a good girl. So anyway, so that's her story. Like I said, that's where she comes from. She hasn't really had much fear at the dog park or anything, which is funny considering how she is. She's more of the, I wouldn't say aggressive, but definitely more playful. What is that? It's like a mushroom she found. What is that? We don't want her to eat it, but it is good that she just look at it. So, as you can see, she's very alert. She's always watching. She's a very high drive dog. You can't tell because she's in our pack, and we really monitor that. We really monitor energy. Ah, shh, no, come now. Come on, let's go. Good girl. There's a good girl. But we run a real tight ship here, and that's how I can keep a dog like that in line, because I leave very small room for error. So I think it's really important that people be very, very clear with their dogs, and that they, especially dogs like this, and then they make sure to be very firm and direct with your instruction. Let's go. You have to follow up and follow through every time to make sure they're doing what they're told. Let's go. Good girl. And then you give praise when they do what they need to do. I don't do clickers, treats. Just use my voice as the alpha. You want to please the alpha, so do as you're told. That's how it works. Good girl. God, she's so elegant. She really is elegant. Just like poetry in motion. They remind me of Arabian horses. They're so agile and delicate, which is not something you would think to call a Mastiff, and yet they are. And I think it's missed in those overly done dogs that look like Neo-Mastiffs, you know, or the Rottweiler types. They lose out on that elegance, because you think they're small until you see them in person. And then you're like, whoa, this is actually a really big dog. It just doesn't look like it because the way they're built. Yeah, built for speed, which is the right type. You good girl. Anyway, well, I guess I'll end this here. There's not really much more to say. She's young. She's still in training, and we've done a lot of video of her training. So, you know, anybody that has any questions, they're all available. She is the Omega in our pack. That means that she's the lowest on the totem pole. That's her choice, not anyone else's. She's submissive. It's in her nature. You see this represented in humankind everywhere. In all social creatures, you will see that there is a, you know, a high-ranking individual and a low-ranking, and then all the ones in the middle. And that's determined by our personality and by our resolve. You know, it's there's all different types of it, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's mostly it's just personality. So, you know, she could lift herself up out of it if she wanted to. And she probably will. As she gets older, she'll get less and less patient. I've already seen it with Midnight. She's getting less and less willing to put up with her crap, with her bullying. And that's a good thing. Doesn't mean they're going to fight, because I'll keep an eye on it. But it does mean that she'll get picked on less. The more you stand up for yourself, the less you get picked on. In the dog world, that is. So, and that means stand up for yourself, not just be a reactive, you know, dog that freaks out anytime somebody walks up to smell you. Because that's just insecurity. You know, just another form of insecurity. So, if you notice, the one thing that Velocity's been changing in is that she's been calming down a lot. You know, really relaxing. And just kind of chilling out. If you see her, she just kind of chills out and hangs out and doesn't really do much. Versus the way she used to be, where she would be chirping, you know, doing her little chirp, running around, freaking out. You know what I mean? That high energy was getting her into trouble. And she's learned that. So now she's chilling out. And that's awesome for everybody. So we're really happy with her. We can't wait to see what kind of puppies she produces. They will be a lot like preacher puppies, because they're bred off the same dogs. So if you like preacher puppies, you will like Velocity puppies. And she'll be bred, I suppose probably around, let me see, come this way. Come, right here. Come, good girl. She'll go into heat the first time around February, but we will not breed her then. We will breed her 6 months after that on her second heat. So, I don't know when that'll be, but we'll see. Depends on if she goes into heat right at a year or not. These dogs don't go into heat early like younger or like smaller dogs. Smaller dogs will go into heat around 6 months. These guys usually don't go into heat until about a year. So, anyway. So, we don't have a stud for her yet, but when we get one, we'll make sure to announce it. We're already looking. So we're just very picky. We don't want to compromise. Oh, look, see, she sees Alex over there, so she's gonna go get him. Just get him, girl. Just go get him. She's like, I don't know about that. You get him, girl. Did you see him? Did you see him? Did you see him? Just go get him, girl. Just get him. Just go get him. She's like, no, I think I'll hang out with you. Look how she moves. Oh, she's so beautiful. She's like, I don't want to attack him. I think I know who that is. She's like, I'm not sure, but I think I know. Yeah, look, she's dancing over. She's like, is it him? Just get him, girl. Just get him. Just get him. Good girl. You skied him. You skied him. she'll notice at the last minute. You skied him, girl. You're a good girl. You skied him, girl. Skied him. Skied him. Skied him. Oh, no, that's all right. Anyway, I'll let y'all go. We got stuff to do. So we'll talk at you later. Bye.